This week, migraine headaches became an unlikely issue in the Republican presidential race after a political website revealed that candidate Michele Bachmann suffers from them. The Minnesota Congresswoman insists it's not a big deal, and CBS News political correspondent Jan Crawford is in Washington with more. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning, Chris. You know, Michele Bachmann is really continuing to rise in the polls, gain some real ground as a frontrunner among some of those Republican presidential candidates, but she's finding herself under increasing scrutiny, too. So now it's been revealed that she, like 30 million other Americans, suffer from migraines, and on occasion she's had to seek medical treatment.
On the campaign trail in South Carolina, Michele Bachmann wanted to talk about the economy and spending, but she instead was forced to address her health.
But I'd like to be abundantly clear. My ability to function effectively will not affect my ability to serve as commander-in-chief.
The controversy started when the conservative website Daily Caller posted a story Monday night that Bachmann suffered chronic migraines, suggesting she should be disqualified from the presidency. The article, which used anonymous quotes from 3 former aides, alleged heavy pill use. One unnamed former aide even questioned, is she going to have the physical ability to withstand the most difficult challenges facing America? Obviously, the health of a presidential candidate is a legitimate issue for voters, but medical experts consulted by CBS News say migraines generally should not disqualify someone from the presidency. They said they now can be controlled by medication, which Bachmann takes, unlike in the old days when Presidents Thomas Jefferson and Ulysses S. Grant suffered from them. The article set off a firestorm on the right and, surprisingly, on the left.
Don't spend more money than
Conservatives said this favorite of the Tea Party was being targeted by establishment Republicans trying to torpedo her campaign, as polls show Bachmann is emerging as a frontrunner. And some liberals said the entire report was sexist because its in tone implied that as a woman, Bachmann was weak and physically unfit for the job. As the only woman in the race, Bachmann already has gotten questions some say wouldn't be asked of a man.
Are you a flake?
Well, I think that would be insulting to say something like that.
Now, Chris, what's interesting is that some of these liberal blogs say they don't agree with a word Michele Bachmann says, but they're defending her on principle. Several of them even mentioned that 2008 presidential race, which, as you recall, Hillary Clinton, they said, was sometimes described in pretty sexist terms, too. So the radar on this is really high right now, Chris.
Jen, any indication that these headaches have done anything to impact her while she's been serving in the House?
You know, that's a great question, and she says it has not affected her ability to function. I went back yesterday and checked some of her voting records on the Hill. She's missed 5% of her votes, but that's a better voting record than 107 other members of Congress, even better than one of those other presidential candidates, Ron Paul, who missed 9% of his.
All right. CBS's Jan Crawford in Washington. I'm sure we'll continue to hear more about this story. Jan, thanks.